Once upon a time, in a quiet valley surrounded by lush green hills, there lived an old farmer named Eli. Eli was known throughout the valley as the man of routine. Every single morning, at the exact same hour, he'd wake up, pack his basket with freshly picked apples, and walk through the forest to sell them in the town market. For decades, he used the very same path, guided by one trusted companion of small, with a brass compass given to him by his father. That compass never failed him. To Eli, it wasn't just a tool, it was proof. Proof that the old ways always worked, that tradition was stronger than time itself. But one day, time decided it was ready to teach him a new lesson. One night, a fierce and powerful storm swept through the valley. Lightning cracked open the sky. Rain flooded the rivers, and winds so strong they bent even the oldest, most stubborn trees. When morning finally came, Eli's farm was transformed. The ground was torn. His familiar paths were washed away, and giant trees lay fallen across his route. Still, he picked up his basket, his routine unshaken, and said to himself, "I've walked this way for 30 years. My compass will guide me." But as he stepped into the altered forest, he failed to notice something crucial. The storm had disturbed the magnetic stones buried deep beneath the ground. His compass needle, his faithful guide, began to spin slowly at first, and then wildly. Without direction, Eli simply smiled, completely unaware that his trusted friend had lost its truth. Hours passed. The forest grew darker, more menacing. The familiar trail had vanished, replaced by a maze of broken roots and deep, muddy pools. Eli's lifelong confidence began to crack. He finally stopped to rest beside a massive fallen tree, sweat beading on his brow. He whispered to the empty woods, "How can this be? My compass has never failed me." He stared down at the spinning needle still turning, still directionless. And for the first time in his long, orderly life, Eli realized a terrifying truth. He was lost. Night fell, and the forest came alive with the sound of crickets and the haunting whisper of the wind. Feeling a sense of despair he'd never known, Eli looked up at the sky, something he hadn't truly done in years. The stars were shining with a quiet, brilliant intensity, as if they had been waiting patiently for him to notice them all this time. Then, through the faint moonlight, he saw a figure walking toward him, a young traveler. No older than 20, the boy carried no compass, no map, just a small lantern and a calm, reassuring smile. "Sir," the boy said kindly, his voice cutting through the darkness. "Are you lost?" Eli hesitated, a lifetime of pride warring with his current predicament. I followed my compass," he admitted, his voice barely a whisper. "But it seems the world has changed." The boy looked at the old compass, its needle still spinning uselessly. He spoke softly. "Maybe the compass didn't change, sir. Maybe the world did." Eli frowned, confused. "Then how do you find your way?" he asked. The boy simply pointed up at the brilliant tapestry of stars. "And the wind," he added. "When you learn how nature speaks, you never truly lose your direction." That night, they built a small, crackling fire. The boy showed Eli things he had never taken the time to see. He showed him how to read the moss on the trees to find his bearings, how the stars create a map in the sky, how the wind carries the scent of open fields and distant water. Eli listened in profound silence. For the first time since he was a child, he felt like a student again, humble, curious, and truly alive. As dawn broke, painting the forest in hues of gold and pink, Eli stood up. He closed the old compass in his hand and whispered, "I trusted this more than my own eyes. But maybe wisdom isn't found in old tools. It's in learning when to let them go." When Eli returned home, he placed the compass on his shelf not as a guide, but as a reminder. He gathered his grandchildren and told them, "Tradition is a beautiful thing, but it is not the same as truth. The world changes, and so must we." From that day forward, the villagers noticed a change in Eli. He still worked the land, but now he asked questions. He tried new methods, planting crops others had never dared to. And whenever someone asked him how he found his way without his old, trusted compass, he would simply smile and say, "I learned to follow something much stronger wisdom. The old paths we know and love don't always lead to new destinations. True progress comes when we have the courage to adapt, to learn, and to move forward. That is how you ensure you never truly get lost. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey today. If this story resonated with you, please consider liking this video and subscribing for more content that inspires you to find your own path. We'll see you in the next one.